I'm going to show how to prepare and apply a grounding of fish glue. I start by measuring out the ingredients. First, I'm adding a spoon tip of chalk, which will ensure that the grounding layer has a bit of texture. Then I add fish glue and water in a 1:4 ratio, and I'm measuring them out in droplets here. Of course, if you are not using droplets to measure this, make sure that you are using equal amounts to make sure you don't break your ratio. To add the water, I use a pipette so we can measure the droplets. And as soon as I have measured out all the ingredients for our grounding, I just mix them together with a wet brush, slowly adding the chalk as the glue and water are mixed together. Let me speed it up since it takes a few minutes to mix well. And once you are done, you should end up with a milky white substance. To apply the grounding layer, I'm just taking the same brush I mixed it with, make sure it is well saturated, and start putting down the grounding at the edge of my artwork. You might be able to see on the video that it is pooling a bit, and I noticed that happens with every grounding layer you start working on. So first I try to put down as much as possible, and then I start spreading it around. Now the ratio of 1:4 is actually quite important. If you don't water down the grounding layer enough, it will act more like a glue and you get a thick hard layer that you can't really work on. However, if you make it too thin, it'll be more like water and just make the surface you're painting on damp. As you can see, putting down the grounding layer takes a bit of work, but you can see the difference. There where the grounding is applied, it became darker because the surface material is absorbing moisture. Now the next artwork I've got on this piece of parchment is basically the same. I put down a pool of grounding, and as soon as it's being deposited, I start spreading it around. Just working a little bit on the edge there, since I probably missed something. And again, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Once the grounding layer has been fully applied, you want to make sure it has been fully dried before you continue working on it. I noticed it can take at least half a day depending on the humidity and temperature of the room you're working in.